Hello and welcome everyone to the Onward VR Master League. I'm your host Monorchid, and I'm joined today by my co-caster SnooperFax.
What's up?
And my analyst Anonymous.
Hello.
Together we're excited to be bringing you this OJC versus Kai matchup, Season 10, Week 7. As always, the VR Master League is brought to you by the good folks over at VR Cover, ProTube, Rebuff Reality, Fixed Gaming, Cyber Shoes, B Haptics, as well as you guys, the viewers. Thanks for coming in with us today. So let's just jump into the bans and the pick. What do we got today, Snooper?
OJC is going to ban Downfall. Yeah, OJC is banning Subway, and CK Japan is banning Downfall. Sorry for that. Two very understandable bans. Downfall is a very big map that really favors the defensive team at this moment because smokes are currently banned for various reasons. And of course, Subway is another map that usually gets banned because it's tight, closed corners with a lot of dark rooms. And I mean, it's really just not conducive to most league plays. So if you're not good at it, you're going to try and avoid it, and a ban comes out. Obvious bans there, nothing really surprising. Any opinions, Monner?
I pretty much agree with you there. Subway definitely is a map that you either love it or you hate it. I think it's pretty cool though myself.
Yeah, it's got some great defensive positions, I will say that, especially that lower basement. But if you happen to start in Marsoc, you are at a disadvantage because you have less defensive rounds, and if obviously the defensive team that starts there is going to have the advantage, so they can get their 3 points or 4 points essentially just sitting on the objective. So I understand why Subway gets banned. I understand why Downfall gets banned. They're very, very defensive heavy.
Right. Yeah, I just find it a lot of fun. It has these really unique objectives with kind of things that you never see elsewhere. Like two-way entrances, that basement objective that you were talking about. Just things are just completely different and Onward. But I find a lot of fun to just have a little bit, like a couple of objectives. It just adds a lot of spice.
It does. Definitely a lot of spice being added if Subway's in the mix. But obviously some teams do want to avoid it. As we see, there's some interesting bans. But, I mean, it's understandable bans.
So our first map today is going to be Q1, the most changed map since the change from 1.7 to 1.8. What do you think of the new map, Snooper? My bad.
Well, as for Quarantine, I'm actually really impressed that it runs on Quest. It's a nice, big, complex map, especially with a bunch of new additions, with the hospital in the south, the garage in the east, or the west, and of course, oh God, the building behind the hospital that just reinforces the hospital's position even more. Definitely an interesting layout change. The underground garage is another one, but it really isn't the most favorite place for defensive teams to hold out. I noticed Marsoc usually likes to use it as a traversal point, moving through the center of the map, moving quickly into burning, or moving quickly out of there into hospital, or just holding there to just see where the enemy is. So I said it wasn't a favorite spot, but people do like to move through it, but they don't like to stay there that often. So that's sort of where I'm going with that.
Right, it sounds like we're going to be jumping right in here to the action. Round 1, OJC versus Kai. Kai being pretty much the remnant of Water, just kind of reforming a little bit, restructuring, new leadership under Etch, the boss. And then OJC... Oh, go ahead.
I have a slight correction. Kai banned Downfall. I said CK Japan Downfall, and he doesn't ban everything.
I'll fix that after this round if needed. And we're going to just get right off to the races here. Looks like we got Rob, Semper, who else? Etch, Phonic, Smithy, and yeah, that's it. With them, and OJC's got Nashik, CK Excella, Nep, and Shinzu. Well, looks like we got a nice split. 2 going north, 1 going center, and 2 kind of looks like they're going to cross on the south road here. The defense got a pretty typical layout here. A couple in Burning, Old Burning in the center of the map here. 1 in Gas Station, and 1 kind of like in the hospital area here. I can't quite see where he is yet, but we should see him shortly. Shinzu is pushing up towards the hospital there, trying to see if we can get like a nice peek maybe onto the rubble. of the burning, but I don't think he's quite going to be able to see Semper. It would be a really nice shot if he did, though. Looks like the car's in the way.
And all the way behind the roof, the first action's happening between Phonic and Nep and Excella Reese. They're trying to move around from behind the north roof, maybe get into that north alley, but it looks like they're bailing on that since Phonic's in a really strong position. He's got that hill cover and the car cover. CK Japan is trying to cross, but I think he's going to get seen by Etch before he can get into any angle on Phonic.
Yeah, you can see Nep just trying to push his luck here, trying to look through the gap in the north fence, trying to get eyes on the Phonic, who's just in a really tight position, who he gets a nice shot on the Phonics, killing him instantly and opening up that angle for attack. CK Japan, meanwhile, moving up next to the roof area, moving all the way up nice and slow, and is going to come into contact with Etch anytime now.
The north is definitely open now. If Etch only really has a view on CK Japan's position, he might see Excella Reese move across the north if he moves closer to that hill, but Nep, he's got a clear shot into that north alley.
Right, yeah, you can see Etch kind of doing a little bit of jiggle pigs here, trying to get some vision on as he knows that he's lost Phonic covering the far west. Nep and Axella make it all the way across without being seen by Etch. Meanwhile, CK still near the roof, just trying to get eyes on any opposition and make sure his team is in the right place here. Oh, shots ring out. Some pre-fire from CK shooting into the second story of Impact Building. Etch is definitely going to be aware of his position. It just depends on how aggressive he wants to be on his peaks here.
Yeah, we've got Nep and Excella Reese. I'm essentially following them a whole round now because they are definitely flanking in through the north. I think they're going to see Smithy, but that's only one of Kai defending this whole north alley. And there's actually an OJC member in the south.
You got a couple of them, yeah. Shinzu in the... Oh, we might get a confrontation between Smithy and Shinzu. Smithy, nice shot over the top of the car, shooting into the gas station, taking out Shinzu. Nep meanwhile gets a nice confirm right back onto Smithy from all the way on the west side. Good shot from both of them. Meanwhile, Nashi looks like he's going to be pushing up. Etch is taken out by Nep at Impact Building. Rob coming back towards Volt Garage area, trying to get across and get a different angle, I suppose, and taken out by Nashi Jam.
OJC's now on the objective, and Kai is now really off objective. Our Semper really far back. Now, OJC can definitely get a cap here. They've got the numbers to do it. They got essentially enough people to sacrifice to so CK Japan can get the cap. And I'm pretty sure a cap's going out because our Semper is not moving back to the objective. It's a cap.
Is he trying to cap right now? He looks like he's on the other side of the plane wing there. I don't know if I have some kind of weird render issue.
No, I think he wedged himself down in there somehow. Not the best idea. Oh, Nashi Japan. That was rough. But OJC finally finds the cap point. Apparently you can cap from behind the plane fuselage, and that's a round one cap.
That was crazy. I had no idea you could cap from back there. So what's your thoughts on that round, Anonymous?
OJC started out strong, sending 3 into the north. They did back off after they saw one of the defenders sitting behind the car, but they took him out, and Kai was not prepared to defend the uplink. They were all a little too spread out, in my opinion. Only 2 in the Impact Building covering from the north. I also think our Zemper should have pushed back closer to the objective once he saw one of them come near the objective, and that cap by CK, I think it was. Yeah, that cap by CK behind the plane fuselage. That was amazing. I've never seen anyone cap that far away from the objective, especially completely behind cover.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. These, different teams coming up with different ways to attack the objective, being able to cap from behind some kind of cover and being visually occluded from the normal defense spots is pretty common. For example, on like Downfall, there's a lot of spots like that, not to mention other maps. But it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. And as the meta develops, there's going to have to be different shifts in the defense to cover all the possible angles that the cap could come out from.
And we're off to round 2, guys. OJC's on defense. Kai's coming in on offense. Let's see if Kai can replicate the cap or cap back, as they like to say. That was definitely an interesting place to cap. I've never seen that before. Didn't even think it was possible, and we just saw it. So, new information, guys. This is actually a really good cast to watch.
Yeah, I had no idea that that was happening. I'm like, I thought he was just stuck, like you were saying.
I thought he fell and was stuck too. But I'm looking at the loadouts of OJC. I'm seeing a lot of LMGs. Proper LMG fire is definitely important right now. Keeping the teams pushed back, trying to cover lanes, LMGs, ammo. That's important on a map like Quarantine.
Yeah, definitely need a lot of pre-fire, gets shots on target, especially like impact, shooting in the rubble, for example, all good spots to shoot. Meanwhile, Smithy in the north is pushing up here, just barely misses Nep, pushing up to the white car next to impact building here. He's going to continue his push. Looks like he's got support in the crack of north wall with Phonic. Maybe trying to get that same kind of line that Nep got earlier, kind of like a grudge match going on here.
It's very interesting how the North push is almost mimicking the North defense and offense is mimicking the first round. Smithy's moving over the hill. Phonics is all the way in the back North alley, and Nep's at the white car. It's essentially a mirror match right now.
Right. Meanwhile, all the way over here in the south, Etch looks like he's going to push towards the hospital, go south, or maybe go through center. Semper is in support there. And the difference here, though, is Nashi is on the roof of center or of hospital roof, taking fire at Etch, downs him. Meanwhile, Nep takes out Smithy all the way over in the north here. And now Phonic is going to have to deal with Nep all alone. Oh, never mind. Rob came up into support here. Nep is ready to move his point of aim to wherever the contact comes.
Seeing a lot of flashes. Yes, it is. I'm seeing a lot of flashes go out with expectations that they might actually hit the ground. But you got to remember, flashes have maybe 2-3 second fuse at most. So if you're trying to go for a long flash, you just tossed away your utility into the air. Now, Rob did just find Nep, but Nep is only downed, and Accelerates can definitely get the res. There's no one watching Nep's body, and I don't think Rob's going to come back and look.
No, yeah, Nashi looks like he almost had an angle onto Rob, but he's just a little bit too low. Didn't quite see him, so Rob has a chance to push forward here and maybe catch OJC off guard coming from the north.
Well, this is still a really rough 2v4 right now, and Nep is still down, so he can give out all that sweet information about where Rob is. I don't think he saw the cross because of that hill, but if Rob does try to move any further, Nep can see that. He can easily tell Accelerates where Rob is going, and it looks like that's exactly what's about to happen.
Rob even shot his gun a little bit, so Accelerates is definitely going to be aware of this situation here. Rob doesn't even look like he's aware of where Accelerates might be, as he's kind of looking towards Nep. Maybe unsure if Nep actually went down or not. Definitely a lot of OJC members coming around the corner right here, and we get a nice engagement. Nashi comes out on top. Rob is only downed. Probably going to get a confirm any second here, and here we go. Nep's going to be revived. And that leaves it down to our Semper to try and pull it back for the entire team here. Going to be a 1v5.
Well, our Semper can definitely do it. I've seen him pull it off a few times before, but you got to remember, OJC is a Japanese native team. They call out in Japanese. They talk to each other in Japanese. And let's be honest, us Americans and Europeans, we don't know Japanese. So they're at a distinct advantage, especially in close range combat. They can call out to their team, ask for help, and we don't know what they're saying. That's a big advantage right now, and we're seeing that play out right now.
Our Semper pushing up towards the center of the map here. It was quite open earlier, but the rest of OJC is moving up, covering those gaps now. The noose is lowering, and our Semper is going to have to do some amazing stuff to pull this one back. But like you said, I've definitely seen our Semper do it, and here we go. He takes out Accelerates. Nice accurate fire from his M16, and now he's going to have to contend with Shinzu and Nep in the short term here. except Nep fell from the plane, unfortunately slipped. Shenzu pulls around the corner and takes out Semper. OJC
Good effort
takes
on
the round.
Solid effort on Semper's part. Anonymous, do you pick up anything?
As you guys were saying, yeah, at the beginning of the round, their defenses and offenses looked almost the same. They did switch it up a little bit. After like the very beginning, but I think OJC did have a little bit better defense in the north. I think they did send one extra player into the north, and that really helped them, as four of their 5 players went into the north trying to do exactly what OJC did to them last time and get the cap. So it was.
Now I am looking at the chat, and they are saying that it is a very well-known spot now that you can cap there. So I guess us casters are just a little out of the loop. I think we definitely thought he fell down somewhere and got stuck. You know how casters are. We can definitely see through buildings. We can see the red and blue sort of outline. So we weren't entirely sure what happened there. But, I mean, solid strat, solid pick, and he got the cap.
You could just say it, chat. Mono's lived under a rock for 1.8, basically. You could say it. I could take it. Exciting round. What do you guys think of OJC putting somebody on the roof of hospital and then looking south?
It's a relatively useful strat. I mean, even if that person goes down, you know where they're coming from. You know they're in the south, even without a call out from that person. So, honestly, I'd say put someone in the hospital every time. Granted, that also comes down to where the objective is, where the rest of your team is, of course. But if you can, get someone there.
Right. We might just have a small little gap here. We'll see how it plays out here. One player did drop from Kai, but he could definitely come back any moment here. We'll give him a moment to come back here. If not, we might just jump into intermission. So the thing about hospital for me is it's really well, the roof of hospital, let me say that. It's really powerful, but at the same time, it's really common and it's also really risky. I mean, just running out from the like stairway entrance area, you're really exposed to the north roof, for example, or somebody near the radio tower kind of thing. And everyone's kind of looking that way, the same way they kind of looked at the north roof in 1.7. And once you're up there, there's not very much cover if you're on the south side. If you do make it over more to like the west side and you hide behind the AC units, yeah, you got some cover, but if things go bad, you better be able to drop prone quick. Otherwise, you're going to get your head taken off.
Engage has finally popped in. It sounds like they're in a planning phase right now. OJC's at 3 points, Kai with 0. We can definitely see a comeback on this objective. The next objective changed all the way to Tank Courtyard. So definitely a more interesting objective than the previous. A little more open. It's not tucked into that fuselage. And there's no real, cheese spots to cap in it besides get as close to that tank as possible and put the code in.
Yeah, this one's a weird one to cap on. At the same time, it's kind of this weird objective where it feels hard to attack, but it also feels hard to defend. So it's kind of interesting in that way, in my opinion.
Definitely lends itself to a more spread out defense. But in the same way, you kind of expect the defense to be sort of clustered up or maybe send a few in a certain direction. But it looks like we're going into round 3. Here we go.
Here we go. Gonna need to see some slick play from Kai to bring this back. I'm excited to see how this round plays out.
Yeah, me too. There's some interesting loadouts on defense. I'm seeing a lot of rifles, no LMGs. And I know I keep harping on the LMGs, but you really do need that ammo count.
Yeah, I am pretty partial to having at least one LMG per round. They definitely have a really useful ability to suppress, to put fire down, to distract. There's just so many good things about the LMG. Either kind, either the belt or the whatever you want to call it, drum fed. CK
Ooh.
Japan takes out Smithy. Nice quick shot.
I do see R Semper and Phonic in the north. R Semper is watching the cross through center, which will see 2 OJC members, and Phonic is watching his back. So a very interesting but solid defense going on there.
Good communication coming out of OJC. I hear them talking on the radio here. Shinzu takes out Phonic, getting a little aggressive in the north here as Shinzu decided to go on the far north wall. Meanwhile, shots ring out from CK Japan, giving that cover fire that I was talking about earlier for Nashi Jam as he rushes straight forward into tank courtyard, moving towards objective, and he's already on the tank.
Semper missed him. He's looking the wrong way.
Nashi,
and engage.
Ooh. Nice confirm though from Nep. Nashi did trade with him. The objective is currently open. Etch is crashing back to objective, make sure nobody gets on it. It's going to be tough for him, though, as he has Nep on the hospital roof looking in, trying to get him in. There we go. He takes him out. And now it's just up to Semper to cover this objective.
OJC is very skilled at just basically creating kill zones on offense, and that's what they just did as R Semper finds Nep on the roof.
It's got to rotate now, as they definitely know his position, and if their kill count is accurate, they'll know that Semper's the last one up. And as he's crossing the road here, he nearly gets his head taken off by Excella on the wing there. Shots is ringing out. He's wounded, but he's not going to stop. He's got places to be.
Yeah, our Semper's on objective. He's finally back. Nep's given some call-outs, but of course, we don't know what he's saying. It's in Japanese.
Ooh,
Semper finds Shinzo.
Oh,
nice shot from that.
He was all the way in the back of Mall. I didn't even know that he was there. Semper takes out Excella on the wing here. And just like that, Semper is bringing this back. There's only one member left of OJC, one available for a res. And I think that's going to be the plan here is CK makes that rotation around to get the res off. Definitely a good strategy, if you ask me.
Yeah, but if our Semper gets a view on that roof, I think that might be the downfall of OJC on this.
I think that's kind of what Semper's thinking here, is he was looking towards the hospital there. He's probably thinking that the rest of the push is going to come from the south. Semper definitely has good game knowledge and experience to kind of just guess where the players might be.
And they are moving that direction, so it looks like the action is going to heat up, but our Semper obviously maneuvering back to the objective to see if anyone's sneaking onto it for a cap. Smart thing there.
Yeah,
OJC's going to flank.
It was a real nail biter when Semper crossed the street there, but by doing that, he was able to cover the objective. He stopped the cap. He killed Shinzu in the back coming in for a flank, and I think it was really critical to this defense. If he just stayed where he was going to get taken out.
We'll see what happens.
CK crossing the street here. You should run into Semper right here. Semper wasn't quite ready for him to come around that corner so quickly. And Kai were eliminated. OJC takes the map. And we should be rolling into map 2 here. What an interesting set of rounds.
That round was definitely interesting. OJC came in. Only one of them went north. I would have expected some more of them up in the north, but that one north push was definitely beneficial to OJC as they got the one person covering the north from that push, and then they brought it down to a 4v1, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and our Zemper brought it all the way back to a 1v1, and then a res came out, and it was 1v2, and he got killed. So.
Definitely an interesting play for our Semper there. I mean, he was definitely alone and definitely odd man out trying to fight 2v1 at the end there, and he did the smart thing. He went back to the objective. He made sure there was no one capping, but I think his movements maybe gave him away a little bit, and they could hear him, and of course, we saw the result of that. OJC took him out as soon as they saw him, so it's really hard to defend that objective and also be, I guess, proactive against the offense, especially on your own.
Definitely was a very valiant effort by Semper. We're rolling into map 2 here. It's going to be Suburbia. the age-old Suburbia. Gonna start with a spicy objective right here in center house, second story. This one's hard to attack.
It's hard to attack, but I think 1.8 made it easier. The windowsills are lower. The stairway, it seems, is easier to get grenades all the way up to. So, and of course, the pre-fire comes out, preventing a lane 3 push. I think I'm getting my lanes mixed up, but who's to say?
You're definitely correct there. Looks like they are going to end up pushing lane 3, tempting fate. No more pre-fire coming out. Smithy taking some shots from the red car in lane 3. Engage kind of just staying low. Nep takes out Semper lane 4 as he tried to flank around there. Lane 1 looks like we might see some action as well, as Etch is slowly pushing up there. Utility starts ringing out. Smithy putting some fire over the red car and ducking back down, making sure he doesn't get his head taken off by some of their own pre-fire.
And it looks like it's all going to slow down. Smithy and Engage are sitting around lane 1 and 2. Phonic's going to try and move through the center, I suppose, and Etch is sitting around lane 1. OJC is just really, really accurate with their fire. Once they find a person, they're usually going to tag them down. And there's Nep finding Smithy as he moves around lane 1. And it's all down to 3 Kai members to attack 5 OJC members.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is definitely a map that I personally struggle with. There's so many of these little angles that you have to worry about. You go around a corner and suddenly you have to look left, right, and front. Make sure you're not going to get shot from a Volk player that's kind of hiding there. Shots come out from Etch over in lane 1 here, trying to shoot towards maybe Shinzu or Excella. CJ takes out Engage as he pushes forward. Etch is downed as well. Grenade finishes him off. Phonic runs into the center house and is taken out by Nashi.
It's just a meat grinder right there.
Yeah, they definitely had that set up like a meat grinder. That's the best description I could have thought of, too.
And Anonymous, did you pick up anything, sir?
Yeah, Nep in lane 1 he got a kill right away. He saw some people coming down lane 1 and they didn't see him, and those kills came out very quickly. Nep is definitely a very good shot. He had over 6 kills last map. He's already picked up 2 in round 1 of this map. So he's definitely a very good addition, and then the rest of them just tried to come into center house a little early, and that didn't work very well for them.
Nep
definitely did not.
Nep definitely out for blood here, already 2-0. Good kill spread as well for their team here, and Kai's gonna have to adjust their strategy a little bit, maybe on the comeback for the defensive round on this objective. OJC and definitely had a really wide defense too for this objective. There wasn't very much reliance on them having to get up the stairs and attack the objective like a lot of other teams kind of focused on. They were proactive, they spread out, and you definitely saw that. I don't think Kai was expecting that.
On an objective like that, I think the general gist of the attack is focused more on the stair attack, as you said, and you're not really prepared for something that's more spread out. And it looks like we're moving into round 2 pretty quickly. See if Kai can hold it.
Definitely some quick plans being made, and they just want to get right into the action. Shoot the enemy.
Kai's still feeling pretty good. They're ready to roll, and that's a big thing. You got to keep your morale up. Once you start getting down on yourself, you're gonna start thinking tactically. You're gonna stop moving around as fast. You're gonna stop aiming as fast. So definitely want to keep that morale going.
Yeah, it's more like, I'd say more than half the battle is just the morale and the team spirit, as it were. Alrighty. Nice battle line from OJC. Just definitely get a nice spread so they can push forward all together at the same time. Semper kind of in the backyard area behind these Heskos, ready to catch anybody rushing forward too aggressively. Shinzu trying to throw a frag, maybe catch anybody in the bushes. Nobody is there though. Phonix is kind of ready in lane 2 area here, trying to catch anybody coming through lane 1. Might see a confrontation between CK and him. Interesting. Ooh, Engage takes out Nashi. Ooh, and Phonic takes out CK, and Nap is also taken out as well. The lane 4 push has been eliminated.
It's a 5v2, guys. Shinzo's trying to move around to lane 1. Excella Reese is moving around all the way through lane 3, it looks like, into the back playground. So definitely an interesting spread from OJC, considering there's only 2 left on the field.
Yeah, definitely they're trying to get some picks here, you know, even up the kill count a bit, as it's going to be tough for them. And Phonics takes out Shinzu. You can definitely see the effect of having 5 people up. You have all the angles covered optimally. Everyone's just mostly watching one angle, while Excella, or when there's a 2v2, they have to watch like every angle. You know, what if there's a flank? What if you know, you just miss them as you come around the corner there, because you're going to have to clear so many things. Definitely going to be a tough comeback for OJC on this round.
I mean, this is a very strong objective. And Excella Reese still has the hardest part, getting up those stairs.
Not giving up, though.
He's certainly putting up a good fight. He's got 3 minutes left, so he's got plenty of time to maneuver, make Kai sort of guess. He can pick off maybe 1 or 2, and then go in for the objective. Engage will certainly be a problem in the back, but there's a question of whether Excella will even realize he's there or not. I don't know.
It was unfortunate because he actually fired through the fence, and he was firing at the right place, just not low enough to take out Semper, I think. Wasn't sure if the Hesco maybe was in the way, but he was in the right area.
Excella's going to move up and engage with Phonic, it seems. And Phonic gets the kill as soon as he sees him. And Kai takes the round, and it's 1v1 on map 2.
There we go. So what do you think about that round, Anonymous?
As you guys were saying at the beginning, this game is definitely a large part of the battle is definitely the mental game, and Kai came into it with a good attitude, and you can see that they just destroyed OJC on this map. They brought it down to a 5v1, and then Phonic got the last kill. Phonic was very beneficial to them on lane 2. He got 3 guys in the same general area on lane 1. He got 3 kills over there. Engage got 2 kills. I think he was behind the center house, right?
Yeah, he was definitely behind. He was behind the spawn house. He was one all the way in the far back. Engage was definitely a good back, sort of a nice solid wall to make sure that no one came through the front door of middle house, flanking around behind his team. So anyone that was going around lane 1 or lane 4, he was there to make sure that didn't happen, or at least they had to think twice about it. So solid defense from Kai right there. I couldn't say anything wrong about what they did there.
Right, yeah, I was actually kind of worried about lane 4, but Engage definitely just put an end to that, taking out, I think it was him, taking out both players who pushed up in the north, or lane 4, sorry, and took them out. You know, there's no problems there, and I don't even know if OJC was aware of that position as he just kind of looked through the window there.
Here we are starting up on round 3, new objective, over by the burning house. It's still burning. It's got its particle effect back. So this is an actually different, well, it's a rather hard objective to defend.
This one's fun though. I really love lane 4 in general. It provides a lot of different gameplay elements compared to the rest of the map. A little bit more open here. A lot of pre-fire happening from Etch. You could see that the defenders were afraid to push up there without taking their heads off. Excella takes out somebody in center house here. Now he's going to contend with Smithy anytime now. Neshi firing down lane 3. Not quite anyone there at the time. Semper takes out Nep in lane 4 area. Engage coming around here, shooting CK as he tries to rotate from the spawn house. Excella takes out Smithy just right outside center house. Ooh, just 2 members left for OJC. Nashi on the porch of objective, and he's going to quickly get surrounded here as Excella is taken out. And now it's just up to Nashi to cover this. He did take out Semper on lane 4, but he's quickly going to get flanked from Engage or possibly Etch, who definitely can hear his movement near objective.
Yeah, Nashi's definitely in an interesting position. He can't go back and get CK Japan. He'll definitely get picked up by Engage, and of course Etch will see him and leave the objective open for a cap, which I'm pretty sure Etch is going for.
Yeah, you can see him slowly moving up here, trying to be as quiet as possible. He sees Nashi go for the res here, and he's gonna have to make this decision. Is he gonna shoot? And it looks like he is gonna try and just confirm the win for his team, but he gets taken out by Nashi. Engage has a nice quick refrag though, giving Kai the round.
Yeah, Kai definitely held out there.
So what's your thoughts, Anonymous?
That round was very quick for Suburbia. It was down to a 1v2 by the time the first minute was over. Normally on Suburbia we see teams taking it a little bit slower than that. It's definitely one of the larger maps. It's not a large map, but it is medium. We did see that Kai had a very good offense. They had a little bit of a split. They sent Engage up lane 1, and a couple of people down lane 4. Engage had a very good refrag at the end when the last guy went, or Engage was going in for the cap, and they got a very good refrag right at the end there.
Yeah, you can definitely see Water's roots in this map. They're very good at it, and this is definitely a map we could see a comeback from Kai. And you can see that teamwork rolling there from, you know, they had Etch going for the cap there. When the cap didn't happen, he gets taken out. Engage was ready to just jump into action and get that refrag, winning them the round there. Now we're gonna have to see how this plays out on the opposite sides here. So many ways to attack this objective. You know, you could just do a strong push through lane 4. You could spread out and do a nice battle line. You could go through the opposite side. It just really depends on how the team wants to take it. If they want to be a little bit more methodical, if they want to be a little bit more aggressive, kind of favoring one side or the other, and just break the enemy team in half, making them have to defend with basically 2 or 3 members only. Rolling right here into round 4.
The Kai's definitely feeling good after that. They realize that it isn't going to be a wash. OJC isn't going to run them over. They can definitely hold their own. And Semper is definitely in a position to fight Nashi, and he does.
Nashi doesn't sound very happy about that one. CK's going to go for the res, but if he's not careful, Semper's going to take him out as well. Nap gets some pre-fire onto the APC, but Semper being prone, looking through the little, you know, tracks of the APC isn't going to be affected by that pre-fire to all too much. Meanwhile, Etch on the porch, ready for anybody just rushing around trying to get the objective. The rest of Kai kind of just going through the center lanes here, trying to get a nice angle. Smithy, it might come into contact with him any moment, though, with Accelerees kind of coming around the corner here. Just really depends on how aggressive Smithy gets. Semper takes out Nep as well as he tried to go for that revive. Smithy comes around the corner, very aggressive, taking out Excella right behind center house here. And quickly, well, again, we're down to a 5v2 situation. Possible res going out here, but if you do so, Semper might just take you out. And he gets that confirm even after the res goes out on Nanashi.
Our Semper's holding out lane 1. Etch on objective. CK is trying to crawl up into that little pocket you can cap at. See if he can actually get past Etch.
I don't think he can, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have to put your tablet out into the open to get in range. So once Etch, he won't even get there. His Engage gets a nice shot from the spawn house bottom story, which seems to be his zen zone, as he just takes people out left and right from that position.
It's a solid spot. You're hidden behind the curtain. You can see that little edge. I mean, no one really hits it just on, you know, as a proactive measure. No one puts bullets through it being like, oh, someone's going to be there. So Engage is in a pretty prime spot.
Yeah. Shinzu takes out Phonic in the yard of the spawn house here. He is revivable, and Shinzu, having fired his weapon, everyone's going to know where he is. And Wouldn't be surprised if the kill count was very accurate at this point, considering that all of Kai is up right now. In fact, even Semper is out and about trying to get a nice flank on Shinzu here. And Smithy, nice solid defense right in the garage port here, taking out Shinzu, giving Kai the round, and just like that, they're up to 3 points.
Definitely Kai's map right now. Anonymous?
Yeah, Kai got their 3rd point on map 2. On map 1, they weren't doing so good. They got crushed 4-0 with there was a cap round 1, but looks like they're coming back. OJC can definitely group up and move down a lane, but on this map, Kai is just watching those angles, and it's definitely working for them. Engage definitely likes that little spot in spawn house. He's gotten a few kills from there. There were less lane 1 pushes this round. They must have seen that lane 1 is not very good for pushing, as 3 of them got killed. 3 of OJC got killed there the first round. So.
There's definitely a game of, are they going to be pushing down this lane again? It's what they did last time. Maybe it worked out really well for them, so we're going to try something different. So it's really interesting to see the mind games between two teams as they, make minor adjustments to their play style in order to counter the enemy team. And I think we definitely saw that out of Kai, as they got taken out really quickly on the first round there, but they didn't let that hold them back, as they just came back punching hard and brought it all the way up to a 3-1.
Here we go, round 4.
Round 4, tank objective. Another interesting one. Roll right into this. This could be the win point, the match point for Kai. And if they do, they would win this map. If OJC takes it, then we'll keep going. See who comes out on top here. Pre-fire rings out. Phonic running up the center. Got a nice spread going on. We got pretty much an exact battle line down the map here. A lot of players kind of going around the playground area. Just kidding, they pulled off and went towards center house.
Definitely
okay.
an interesting offensive spread all the way across the map. Engage and Phonic are definitely trying to tag team that lane 4 with the rest of their team hitting over 1 and 2. 3. So definitely an interesting push from Kai right now. And Shinzo finds Phonic.
Nice grenade. He just kind of heard that movement, probably threw the grenade, gets him. Nashi takes out Engage, pulling up into lane 1, and it's going to be really hard for Phonic to get a res here. And while he's talking, Shinzu probably definitely hears him. Making the right choice here, I think, not running out to get that confirm, as to do so would really expose himself. Edge kind of just looking like he's going to come over there and provide some support. Currently near the playground right now. Smithy doing a nice long rotation, going all the way to the back of the map here. Maybe trying to go to support Phonic as well. Nashi pushing up, and just like that, Phonics is dead. Smithy is going to have to make this push in lane 1 all by his lonesome. Meanwhile, Etch and Semper still in lane 4, trying to root out Excella, who has a nice, long, accurate shot all the way from the backside of the map here with his G36, taking out Semper.
Yeah, moving around that lane is really dangerous. There's no real cover. And Nashi finds Smithy, and it's all down to Etch. In a 5v1.
This is tough. This is tough. Kai is going to have to do something miraculous to come out on top here. 5 OGC members still up and kicking. 3 minutes left on the round, and with these kind of smaller maps, that time can, feel like an eternity. So I definitely would like to see a lot of probing, a lot of fire, and here we go. That's exactly what we're getting. Etch taking out Nashi in lane 1, who's getting a little bit aggressive here. Shinzu pushing up on the other side of the bush. Players obviously can't see through them, though. Grenade or flash comes out over the top. Gonna push the advantage here. Etch not actually flash, though. But if he's not careful, he might get flanked by Excella coming up right on his side in lane 4, and he's taken out by Excella.
Definitely a rough in there for Etch. Anonymous?
Kai did start out that round pretty well, but they just kind of fell apart. None of them could get past the pool in the back of center house. They all kind of stayed back in their area and got shot almost all the way across the map by OJC. OJC is definitely very good at the longer range, as we saw in Quarantine, and a little bit on this map too, when Nep and Excella shoot very accurate shots all the way across lane 4.
Yeah, definitely some long-range shots coming out of OJC on this round. Really impressive. Some good frags too. Shinzu throwing a frag over, probably just hearing a little bit of movement from Phonix, and with that grenade right on point, was able to down him, forcing a rotation out of out of Kai. And they just were able to take them out one by one and really put the hurt to Kai on that round.
Yeah, that frag onto Phonic was amazing. It was a little bit over him, but it was very close. Phonic was down by that nade, and it just made their offense fall apart after they all started rotating.
That often is what happens. A relied upon position goes down, and it sort of just compromises the rest. So interesting offense, solid defense, and it's all down. Oh, and here we have a reset.
The reset. So sometimes you just have like the wrong loadout, so you just gotta quickly reset. In the comp lobby, you can, if things aren't exactly as you need, if everyone chooses to, they can all reset the round in order to make sure you have the right loadout, or maybe somebody had some headset trouble, that kind of thing. There's an allowance for that in the league here. If you're interested in joining the league as well, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of new bronze level teams to join and fight against, or just join up and play with. It can be a lot of fun playing in the league, so if you have any interest in that, feel free to show your face in League Gen and get acquainted with everybody here. We'd love to have you.
Here we go into round 6, and all Kai has to do is hold their defense, and this is actually a pretty nice solid objective to defend. It's in the middle of the street by the tank. The only real trick to it is if you lose one side of the face of the tank, you probably have a blind spot on the objective. So I've seen people come up on one or two the other side of the tank and get a cap off with 4 members of the defending team still up. The only problem was they couldn't see that one side of the tank.
Definitely a big capping risk on this map. Shinzu in lane 1. CK did make it past Phonic just barely. Etch in the second story window, kind of looking the other way. Phonic is in a really key position here. Flash goes out, lands right on Shinzu, and Shinzu definitely going to be flash here. Takes his light machine gun, provides covering fire, making sure that Phonic isn't able to capitalize on that. And it worked out perfectly, as Phonic, if he stood up, he was going to get taken out. Counter frag goes out right onto Phonic, and it takes him out. Nashi gets a nice confirm here, and lane 1 has now been opened. Now Smithy and Engage are going to have to do a lot of work here in order to defend this side.
And Semper misses Accelerise and stands up with his back to him and gets shot in the back. It's all down to Etch holding the front line. And then it's Smithy and Engage in Nick Cage's house. Essentially just, they'll lose the vision on that side of the tank, or the opposite side of the tank. And that's really, really dangerous right now.
If I had to have one person covering the back side of the tank there, or the front side even, the center house where Etch is where I'd want it. As if he needs to, he can defend himself fairly well and still kind of watch the objective here. You can see he's distracted here as Shinzu is slowly creeping around downstairs, maybe making a little bit of noise, causing a cause for concern for Etch here. CK pushing up here, and you can see Etch isn't able to watch it. Smithy is taken out. Etch does pull up and gets a refrag at least here, and Nep providing fire and just kind of a distraction.
Nashi's going for the objective.
Etch says no.
Which is the right response. At this point, Etch either needs to,
Ooh.
there you go, die or hold the objective somehow, but that was the right move. Once he was the last one left, a Cap would have lost them the round and the series. So playing it safe is the right thing to do. Anonymous?
Yeah, I think it was definitely very good that they did have someone in that Kai had someone in the center house. This objective is very open for capping. If you lose either side, you can lose your guys in center house or your guys in spawn house, and there's a huge opportunity for capping. I would have liked to see two guys defending the center house spawn of the objective. Maybe one of them a little bit off of center house, but after they lost their two guys in spawn house and it was down to one defender left in center house, it was definitely in their best interest for him to run down the stairs and get shot instead of being capped on and losing the series, as you guys said.
It's definitely a risk of trying to stay tactical and tight on your defense when you're the only one left, especially with an objective like that. You want to make sure that you're not getting capped on. You do not want to lose after working this hard to get those 3 points on Suburbia. So smart move. I mean, the opposite of dying was he manages to kill the rest of OJC, which sure, go full Rambo at that point. You really have nothing to risk.
And you look good on cams when it happens too.
Yeah. Full John Wick, you know. Don't sue us, Universal.
We're gonna roll right into the next round here. Round 7, the last possible round. Whoever takes this win will take the map. If OJC wins, they'll take the series as well. So there's a lot on the line on this objective here.
Yeah, and this is actually not a very forgiving objective to try and win on, but thankfully, cap isn't really necessary here. It's all down to eliminations. Whether it's Kai or OJC, they just need to kill. Caps really won't get them anything more than, and our Semper finds Accelerate right off the bat, putting a dent in that defense.
Nep takes Semper. Phonix takes Nep in a nice refrag. Really strong, aggressive push towards the center house here from Kai. Smithy pretty much being the only one not going center house here, going lane 1. Shinju throws a flash over here. I think Smithy was hit by that. You can see he's kind of hiding in the corner here. Shinzu, the god of grenades this series. Just been on point every time.
That was solid. I mean, he threw the flash and then followed it up with a nade, and I guess he knew where he was because he was very confident about where that was going to go.
Meanwhile, CK takes out a player that was kind of moving up here towards the spawn house, or Nick Cage house, as you like to say. CK is going to have to contend with Phonix here, who looks like he's concerned about someone maybe coming up the stairs or just being really careful on his peaks, as CK is right here ready to punish him if he overexposes himself.
Ooh, Etch is trying to get that res off on Smithy. Shinzo's there. He's not exactly watching, is he? I mean, he's watching his rear. Oh, now he's watching the right direction. But Etch is already passed, and the res is going to go out. Whether he hears him or not, that's probably the decider here.
He talks, so Shinzu, if he's listening, is close enough. Hopefully, he might hear it. But that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You're just not watching the right angle at the right time because you just looked away to look in a different direction. Etch can't find his body. Yeah, Smithy being like, come on, I'm right here.
That's interesting. I guess on Etch's local build, Smithy's body may have flown outside the map, which is definitely a thing that could happen.
It's pretty funny actually seeing Phonic. He had his tablet out in center house looking over towards Etch and Smithy. He was like, really? You don't see him?
Well, the key here, and I understand it is a bit frustrating not being able to see the body, but you follow your tablet. You go to where the tablet says it is and start sticking the needle in whatever you can find. You will get the res off eventually because the local isn't exactly similar to what's on the network. And so the body is where Smithy is on the tablet. So
just do what you can. Stab that air. Fill it with drugs. Etch, I think he's just giving up here. He's going to push forward here. Shinzu is definitely aware that Etch is in that area trying to get a res off. Nice quick piece from Shinzu trying to catch that movement, get his head off before he can see him. Etch deciding, you know, I'm not going to be here. The kill comes out on Smithy as I think he just chose to give up there. Etch coming around in a different direction.
And Shinzo misses that rotation again.
Yeah, definitely playing really cautious there, making sure he doesn't get taken out in the same vein right off the start, giving him the advantage if, you know, Etch chose to push him. Ooh.
Etch is one lucky man. He keeps walking by sheer, like, Nashi just looked away there. Same thing that happened to Shinzo a second ago. And Etch is actually in a great position to attack where Nashi is. Whether he's going to expect Nashi to be there, whether Nashi gets his feet under the bus, I don't know. Etch isn't really looking the right direction.
No one really is. Oh, Etch almost takes him out, but is taken out. And Nashi gets a nice shot off back onto Etch's fire here. And now it's just up to Phonics just sitting in the center house here. It looks like he's going to choose to be a little bit more aggressive here. He has less than a minute left. And he's going to have to do a lot of work here with 3 OJC up and defending still.
Shinzo's not really in the fight, depending on where Phonic goes, but now he will be considering Phonic's headed right for him. Oh, will he see him? And he does! He's got 33 seconds, and he can do a lot of work here. I think he's got a pretty good chance.
You got to feel a little bad for Shinzu, because every time there was a Marsoc player in front of him, he just happened to look in a different direction, covering a different angle there. You hate to see it, but sometimes it just happens. And oh, Phonics takes out Nashi there. A little bit tight. Almost
11 seconds. He knows where that flash came out. He's running in.
Run,
5,
Phonics. 2
4.
seconds.
Wait, Nate.
Oh.
Rough.
So close, though. So close. OJC takes the map. And also takes the series. We still are going to play one more map, though. There's always MMR to fight for. What did you think of that round, Anonymous? What a crazy last one.
There was some colorful language from Phonic at the end of that round after he ran out of time. The new 5-minute timer is definitely a little less time than most older players are used to. 6 minutes was nice. You had more than enough time to cross all the maps. You could play it nice and slow and still be able to get it, but now with the 5 minutes, it takes a little bit of time to cross the maps, and you don't have very much time. OJC did take the series with that last round. It was all tied up at a 3v3 on that map, so it was very close to Kai being able to take it.
And it's unfortunate that Etch couldn't get that res off on Smithy. I mean, bugs happen, bodies fly in random directions, but still try and stab your needle around in the general area. I mean, I guess you had some time to do that, but definitely an interesting ending there, considering how he got down to the last dude, put a nade exactly on his position, but a second later, it was over.
Those nades from CK are just crazy. He can get a nade exactly where he wants, and they've taken out many people during this series.
We're going to be rolling into Bazaar for map 3. Interesting choice, a nice mix of long range and medium range combat here, depending on which lane you're in. This is a fun map to play. There's a lot of different varied objectives. I think it's a really well done one from Downpour.
Definitely a solid map. Lots of really tight angles, alleyways, but then there's also these big wide open lanes that offer some nice long range action. A little bit of frustration on Kai's part, but that's how it goes when you lose the series. Don't kick yourself, keep playing and keep practicing.
Phonic coming out strong though, taking Shinzu out quick and dirty. We might see some confrontation as well from Etch. He's going to have to fight 2 OJC members rushing forward. Definitely interesting to be this far off objective, as this is one of the most dangerous objectives to be, off objective for. But on these early beginning moments of a round, you can get some nice picks on the periphery of the map and then return back and get a nice defense.
Unfortunately, I think Kai doesn't see this as too much of a round to take too seriously, so they've trying out some really interesting defenses here. Phonic's in the center courtyard, Smithy's in the east, little I guess blue room-esque buildings with Engage, and of course
getting some confrontation between CK and Accelerates. A lot of flashes going off. Etch hiding in the corner here. Unfortunately, he's just not aware of CK coming around the corner, and Etch is taken out in the far northwest.
That buddy system paid off.
Yeah, good use of utility from OJC. Definitely using the flash, hearing Etch move around a little bit there, and choosing not to make it a fair fight. Just by throwing that flash, you can get the upper hand. That's why you pay an extra point for it, and it definitely paid dividends here.
Engage finds he found Nep in the east, trying to rotate around behind the buildings. Definitely a dangerous zone to move through where Engage is at.
Semper so close to Excel, and neither player quite aware where the other is. Nice fight happening in the north alley as well. Smithy kind of concerned about someone coming around his side on the east side, as he took someone out from there earlier. And now he's going to have to cover both east as well as north here. Good rotation.
Surrounded.
Yeah, you definitely feel the pressure. Smithy taking out CK on the north side of the north wall there. And now it's tough. It's tough. If Semper just looked behind him, he might have seen Excella's foot.
He has to have heard him, though.
Here's him now. Here's him out. Oh, nice shot. Waits for him to come into view, just shoots him right in the butt.
And Nashi doesn't even look. Oh, now he's looking back. Okay, I was a little concerned that Nashi may have thought Excella got a kill there.
He's like, what happened there?
That definitely leaves it open for our Semper to come around and flank and behind, and it's all down to Nashi.
Yeah, you can definitely see the indecision on Nashi. There's a lot of unknown variables here. Could be second story and Kiat. They could be, in any of the buildings across the street of objective here. They might be even hiding inside the market itself, like Phonics is doing right here on the fountain. So he has a lot to watch out for, and it's going to be a tough one for him.
And especially with Phonic where he's at, and Smithy with his cover in his rear, any engagement that happens in that center courtyard is just going to be a loser for Nashi unless he starts getting super accurate shots through all of that little bit of timber. And that's a rough deal.
Right. Oh, Nashi, he doesn't have much time left, but if he, stands up and starts running, he's going to be really visible and he's going to make a lot of noise. So Nashi's at some point going to have to make that decision of when to go out here. You might get a pick, though, to start it off. Always a great way to start off your stealthy run going into the aggression. The only problem here is he saw Smithy for a short second there, and if he's not careful, he's going to have a lot of target fixation on Smithy, and Phonics might just shoot him in the side.
Nashi is doing a pretty good job of stealthing through. Now, if he moves forward, I'm pretty sure Phonic or Smithy will see him.
Here we go. The aggression has started. He's checking around the corner here. You see the famed OJC quickness as he runs up trying to get onto objective. He's actually crossed 2 players, kind of lanes of defense. He takes out Smithy. He is on objective, but not. Phonics gets the pick onto him, stopping that cap from happening. Nice quick reaction from Phonics getting that defense up, and a really good attempt by Nashi.
He made it through quite a lot of people that should have seen him or heard him or something. I was a little flabbergasted that fire didn't come out at him sooner, but I mean, if they were just waiting for him to come into their little trap, more power to him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. He just ran up. He was like, yeah, you know, whatever. There's no time left. I'm just going to run up the center, basically, and almost came away with it. Anonymous, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that cap attempt by Nashi right at the end was about to be very bad for Kai, but I think Phonic was sitting out in the market, could get a shot onto him. But Kai had a pretty good defense the whole round. They didn't take too many peeks. They all held their angles pretty good. They were a little far away from objective at the beginning, but they did have it down to a 4v1, so it's always good for them. Our Zemper's play over in the west, when he didn't get Excella until he crossed all the way and was almost out of view, was very nice. It takes a lot of patience to wait for that and not just shoot when you hear footsteps.
Yeah, the Phonic position was key. You know, he was able to cover a lot of the different cap spots for this objective from there. It's a great fallback position if you're the last man up as well, if you can get there without getting your head taken off. But again, you know, if you're the last one up, it's better to just die than let them have the cap, and this objective is very, very good for capping.
Now let's see how OJC handles this. They're definitely in a good mood after that win. So I think they're going to be in a great place to just keep the morale up, keep the call-outs moving, and just putting it to Kai's face at this point. But Kai is doing a pretty cool south or west push all the way into the north.
Yeah, if you looked at the map, it was like the wing was unfurling as 2 players went around the far flanks here, trying to get some early picks here, kind of similar to what Etch was doing. And Excella might even see a gauge any moment now. Shots ring out. The gunfire is happening. Excella has to pull back. Otherwise, he was going to get taken out. And Phonic and Smithy should know exactly where he is as they come around the sides here. Smithy kind of coming on the front side, and Phonic's maybe coming around the back as the flash comes out. Excella getting some nice pre-fire around the corner here. Phonics is not concerned about that. Runs into the building here, going to try and look out the window here. Sees the flash come out, tries to come around the front side. And Excella is just overwhelmed.
I mean, that's what happens when 4 men push on you. I mean, you're going to just get overwhelmed. It's Phonic and Smithy moving up, making sure that OJC member stays down.
Yeah, I jumped on them. Like, what are they shooting at? And they're just blasting down the corridor. Maybe just confirming them, like you said. It was well, really brutal, guys. I think you got him.
Probably a little bit of a frustration from the earlier rounds going out on that dead OJC body, but Shinzo finds Semper.
Engage doesn't seem to be aware that he jumped out right behind him. He comes out, and Shinzu in this opening is going to come out and get into a nice fight with Smithy.
Nope, he's pulling back, throwing the nade, and he's going to go for a flank, but CK finds Engage as he runs in for the objective.
Etch takes out Nep on the far east side as well. Smithy kind of concerned as he maybe saw where that frag came from or saw the explosion, and you know, Shinzu is going to come around the side onto Smithy, taking him out. And now he's going to come around the back, and Phonic is in a bad position here unless he can take out Shinzu, and he does. Nice shot through the window there. Definitely a testament to Phonic's ability to make some accurate fire under pressure.
It's all down to a 2v2, so anything could happen at this point. Phonic's in a great place to hit Nashi if he tries to take the second floor. If CK Japan tries to pop out around any of those walls, I'm pretty sure Phonic will find him first. So very, very interesting. OJC is probably going to stay on the objective just to make sure no one gets a cap out. But, I mean, Etch needs to get to the objective. He's got 2 minutes left, and 2 minutes on this map isn't that much time.
We might see a confrontation between CK and Phonix. If CK peeks out right now, he might just see the elbow of Phonix. And if Phonix pulls his guns out and look right now, he'll see CK, who is, really exposing himself here. There we go. Nice recognition from Phonix. Sees that little bit of black and knows that there's an enemy player there. Wasn't quite able to connect in that quick fire, but definitely put the CK on alert there as he has to rotate. Etch, meanwhile, has come into the battle zone here. He's on the north wall as well. But on the opposite side, more on the east side, he's looking through, trying to catch anybody in the second story. And Phonix is going to do a nice rotation coming from the west side. So you can definitely see that there's going to be some teamwork here. Etch and Phonix able to come in at different angles and really keep CK and Nashi guessing at where the attack is going to come from.
Phonic is about to come in from the west side. See if he finds CK Japan, and he might. Oh.
Yeah, I'm with you here. We're definitely going to see if CK exposes himself a little bit too much as Phonic pushes up slowly but surely, keeping quiet. And if he's able to get in there, I think we're going to see a confrontation right here as he comes around the corner, taking out CK. Nashi is going to have to react here as Phonic has his tablet out and where cap is happening. And there we go.
Yep. Oh, and Kai gets the cap, putting 3 points on the board to 0 OJC, getting that sweet MMR, and you see them come up to each other at the end. And Nashi just looked frustrated.
They're just both standing there. Were they right next to each other, like physically?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he stared deeply into his eyes. Yeah, you won. Came up. So beautiful end there. Solid cap. The Kai boys are definitely bringing it back.
What do you think about that one, Anonymous?
Yeah, that was a nice cap at the end there. It was pretty quick. It was only a few seconds after he got CK. They did have OJC definitely had a tighter defense this round than Kai did last round. That obviously did not work out for them as they had hoped. They did still get capped on, but it's good practice to always have a tight defense and not spread out too far and get capped on. But Kai did have a good offense onto that.
I think it's tough for OJC is I think when they've spread out their defense line a little bit, it's done really well for them. But because they had to keep so many members on the objective, as Keyot objective being the one we were just doing, is pretty much the hardest objective to defend in the game, bar none. You could see the effects of that is they had 3 people there, and the one member that was in the far west, he was basically isolated as 3 or 4 members of Kai all approached him at the same time, and even when he tried to rotate out, it was too late.
Definitely a rough defense there for OJC. See how Kai handles it. I mean, we have a new objective all the way in the east in this little small market area. Definitely a much more interesting place to defend. There's a lot more areas you can put people, especially on top of the objective. So if you just want to castle up, it definitely lends itself to that way.
This one's a fun one. This is probably my second favorite objective. But here, meanwhile, the action's already happening. Nep takes out Smithy quickly right off the bat as he got really aggressive in his defense here, trying to cross tank here. But OJC was ready for that kind of aggressive defense.
Yeah, putting a lot of pre-fire down through the middle, but unfortunately it caught one of the Kai members as they were trying to fire back. So that is the danger of trying to just respond to fire. You don't want to put yourself in front of a barrel, obviously. And that's sort of what happened there.
That they might have some information from that at the very least, know that there's a couple players moving down the center street here. And if they did think that would be totally true, is there's 3 members all kind of pushing into market here, which is a pretty strong push down the center. Meanwhile, they have 2 other players kind of more in the southeast here. They know there's an opening, so it's definitely a great move to make here, as this objective does have a lot of angles to watch, even if it's a bit more defensible than Kiat. And I don't think that Kai would really be able to afford to send somebody out to cover Smithy's direction here.
Now, CK is coming around behind, and there's really no one in his path to stop him from moving through that east. He does look like he's waiting for someone to poke their head out, though, so that will slow him down.
Nashi gets a nice shot, and the defender's just right under the center market stalls. Nep pushing forward, but, you know, assuredly but slowly. And he hears Semper talking here, and Semper's giving some good callouts here, probably calling out Nep's position here. Phonix and Kiat might be able to come around and shoot Nep if he gets a nice angle here. Ooh, Etch comes out of blue room, takes a shot onto Nep, confirming him, and just really good communication between Semper and the rest of his team, giving him the opportunity to get that. But Nashi basically was just waiting for Engage to come up and try and get that res. And, you know, instead of just getting the 1 kill, they got 2.
Now let's see if CK Japan and Acceleries can actually push out of the east there. Getting onto objective is pretty important in the last 2 minutes. You need to negotiate all the area inside that objective, all those little building alcoves, all the little blue rooms, even the hallway right next to the objective takes a little bit of time to just successfully clear.
Ooh, Nashi almost gets his head taken off. He decides to double peek there, trying to take out Phonix just to sheer force, and Phonix was ready for that. Already proving that he was a really quick shot earlier in the round here, taking him out. It's kind of sitting in the back alley of the Kiat objective. Meanwhile, CK and Excella have made their push further up on the east side, and they're going to be a threat any moment now to Etch and the rest of the Kai team here trying to defend. Phonix really pushing out here, trying to get a flank, it looks like. And, you know, you might take out Shinzu, but if Etch gets taken out on objective, this is going to be really, really tough. And Phonix comes around the corner here, center street, takes out Shinzu. CK and Excella need to make a move or respond to Phonix, as if he comes around the back there, it's going to be really tough for them to defend themselves, but also continue to make progress onto the objective.
So the res is about, yep, there it is. The res comes out, and now it's a 3v2, giving OJC just one more thing to do before they get to that objective.
Yeah, what a swingy game. It looked like it was OJC's game there early in the round, but Kai staying determined, using good communication, where it's able to tie it up here. And Excella takes out Etch in the corner here. Now he's going to push in. He's in the courtyard of objective, and CK is coming down the alley here, which is really a risk, as you can cap around that corner without being seen. Phonix is going to have to make a pretty aggressive move here, as Semper isn't able to get in position. CK is on the position. He has tablet out. He's going for a cap. And there we go. The cap comes out. OJC is able to bring it up 2-3.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough place to cap on. You can't see it if you're that close to the objective where Etch was, so you really got to make sure that corner is protected. No one's watching it. Well, expect someone to cap there. Anonymous?
I did not expect that cap to come out at the very end by OJC. It did look as though they had the round at the beginning, and then Kai kind of took it back and had the 3v2, but OJC got it back down to a 2v2, and then CK ran in for the cap, and that was the end of the round. They're up 2 points. It's 2-3, so they could very well take all 3 maps if Kai doesn't get this next round.
It definitely could go down that way, but I think Kai's ready for a win at this point. You see they're playing a lot better than they did on Quarantine, and of course they were all warmed up, and I think that's the point, is they're ready to roll, they're ready to win. They're a little bit pissed off about some things that happened in the earlier rounds, but you can tell they're funneling that hatred and anger into their battle prowess.
You could definitely see how their game plan changed a little bit. They were getting a lot more aggressive, and the push by Phonics, while being really risky, did actually play dividends for them, as they were able to take out Shinzu and get the res as well onto Semper, which, bringing them up to 3 members, really gave them a really good fighting chance on this objective. Just unfortunate that they weren't able to get back in time to fully defend that alley. It's a really hard alley to defend from a cap if you're just not right on it. And
Now,
here we go.
OJC, yeah, let's see how OJC handles this.
Only round 4, so many points on the board already.
And the pre-fire comes on thick, making sure no one is able to freely move. And Phonic and Engage just charge the objective. They're already there, 20 seconds in. Excella Reese finds him. Oh, and he finds Engage, and Smithy finds Nashi. It's action all over the place, and now it's a 3v3.
What just happened? I thought the round just started, Snooper.
Yeah, it's first 30 seconds. You might as well charge in, roll out. You know, you might not. The other team might not expect that. They're expecting some solid, slow, maybe some more tactical plays than a full-on charge down the center.
Definitely a method to their madness, though. They were almost on the point there. Just maybe a little bit too early, grabbing his tablet there, as the defender, Excella, was able to come around the corner and take him out there. Etch, meanwhile, pushing up behind Kia here, but before he could even get an engagement with Excella, our Semper was able to take him out. He is now inside the buildings right next to objective, which is a great place to get some picks or to really support a cap attempt.
Yep, and it looks like Kai is just taking control of the whole area right before the objective buildings. Our Semper obviously on top of the objective buildings, but Nep is the only one really in view of the objective. So if Nep goes down, it's going to be a quick push back to the objective by Shinzo, and that's not always ideal.
Nice tense fight here going on. Semper and Nep trading looks at each other, but neither able to commit. Shinzu coming down the alley here, so we're definitely not going to see a cap that way. Etch coming up near objective room. He's very, very close. Flash goes out. He looks like he might be pushing in to clear this in. Shinzu gets taken out by Semper, though. Like I said, great supporting position. Nep really going to have to expose himself in order to defend this objective. And, you know, with Smithy coming around the north side, we might even see a cap attempt. And if he gets taken out, Semper will be able to push Nep.
Well, Etch is on top of the objective, essentially. He's within capping range, even with Nep where
Etch
he
is
is.
on objective. His tablet is out. But...
Oh! I mean, it didn't really matter if they capped or not. They're going for MMR, but a win comes out for Kai, pulling that last round up, kicking it back to OJC.
Oops.
Anonymous?
Yeah, Kai got a nice ending to that last round. They did almost get another cap. That would have been very nice if they won that round with 5 points, but our Zemper traded with Nep in blue room, so that cap did not come out, even though Etch was very close.
Definitely a tight round there. Also, just a quick note there, I accidentally fat-fingered in Suburbia, giving the point to Kai. Really, the scoreboard should be correct now. OJC did win this series. Nice set of maps here. I really enjoyed watching that and seeing these two more aggressive teams go at each other. A lot of thought was put into those attacks and defenses, and it was definitely really interesting. Do you have any thoughts on any of those, Snooper?
No, I mean, it was an unfortunate bug there on Suburbia where I guess they couldn't find the body of Smithy, which I honestly think probably would have changed how that came out. But you got to roll with the bugs. That's the nature of playing video games. They're not going to be bug free, especially VR games. So, got to roll with the punches. And they certainly did try and work out where he was. There wasn't, it wasn't like he gave up after 5 seconds. So, it's an unfortunate bug there, but both teams played very well. We saw some very strong showings from Kai. We saw some very strong showings from OJC. Caps on both ends. So, two very great teams slugging it out, and I think we saw a great match today.
I agree, and I really hope that we'll see kind of like a rematch, grunge match kind of situation go down here later, maybe next season. Because this was a lot of fun to watch, and I think these two teams are very well matched for each other, have pretty similar aggression, and seeing them fight, duke it out was super, super fun and interesting. Do you have any closing thoughts, Anonymous?
I think they're both very aggressive teams, as we saw Engage and Phonic rush up onto the objective in the first 30 seconds that last round. But they both play pretty aggressive, and they play each other well. As you were saying, it was definitely not good that they had that glitch on Suburbia where they couldn't get that res out. But other than that, it was a pretty normal game.
All right, well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been great. Please do show up tomorrow. We have the venues match, I believe it is, which is on Sunday, which is tomorrow at 12 PST. It's going to be between Dead Logic and Boss Fight, so it should be a great match, casting by Nightfire and Noman in the venues. So do show up for that and show your support. This has been OJC versus Kai, brought to you by myself, SnooperFax, and Anonymous. We'd like to thank the VR Master League for providing this format, to our moderators, our sponsors, and especially to you guys, new and old. Thanks for tuning in, spending your time with us, and have a great day, everybody.
Later.
A good day.
Have a good day. Here we go.